Welcome back to part two of our conversation. In part one, Denise and I were talking about the Dobbs decision at the U.S. Supreme Court and what that meant in terms of overturning Roe v. Wade and Planned Parenthood v. Casey. In part two of our conversation, we're going to be talking about the path forward. Now that states and the people have the ability to make decisions for themselves about protecting innocent life, let's find out what states are doing about that. So, Denise, thank you again for joining us. Could you catch us up to speed on what states are doing in light of Dobbs?
Yes, so a lot of states have been preparing for this day for a long time. Many states, in fact, most states, 46 at least, had complete protections for life on the books when Roe v. Wade was decided and overturned all of those state laws immediately. So many states kept those laws on their books, even though they were unenforceable during Roe. In addition, other states passed new laws that said, if Roe is ever overturned, we, the people of this state, want to completely protect life or protect life at an early stage, like when the life has a heartbeat. So all of these things are now in play where various state court and federal court litigation is considering how soon and how swiftly we can get these laws back into effect. Of course, the abortion industry is making up new arguments to try to stop those laws. But the reality is, as the decision in Dobbs makes clear, states have the ability to completely protect life at every stage of development. And so we have somewhere between a dozen and 20 states right now that have strong pro-life laws in place, even if they are being litigated. Many of them are in effect, and we're seeing abortion facilities close their doors because, in fact, they can't operate there anymore.
One of the things I think that is really interesting that even comes across in the Dobbs decision is the advancement of technology and how the advancement of technology has allowed us a look into information that we perhaps never really saw before as a society. Let's talk a little bit about that and even how that informed the Mississippi law itself that produced Dobbs.
Yeah, so the Mississippi law, as you mentioned, protected life from abortion after 15 weeks. And the Mississippi legislature and the judicial record had in it all sorts of evidence about what is happening with an unborn child in the womb at the 15-week point. And even the fact that within about 20 days, a baby has a heartbeat. By week 8 or 9, a child has all of its organs. By certainly 15 weeks, baby is moving around, kicking, hiccuping, sucking his thumb. It can even taste what its mom eats, which is something I didn't know before. And at the same time, at 15 weeks, the abortion procedure is extremely dangerous to a pregnant woman. In fact, between the 8th and 18th week of pregnancy, maternal death from abortion goes up over 2,000%. In addition, the procedure that's used at the 15-week mark is gruesome. It's barbaric. It involves tearing the baby apart limb from limb until the child is bleeding and certainly experiencing pain inside its own mother as it dies. So all of these scientific things that we know now that we have things like 3D and even 4D ultrasound where we have windows into the womb and we're performing in utero surgery to help heal and save these babies. We know so many things that make it completely obvious that the science is undeniable. Humanity of the unborn is obvious and must be protected.
We've talked a little bit about the response from abortion advocates since the decision and a carryover from before. One of those kind of common threads you hear is the charge that women with ectopic pregnancies or other life-threatening situations won't be able to have their life saved in a state that protects unborn life at a young age. So is there any truth to that?
There's no truth to that. It's complete fear-mongering. It's baseless. And you might notice that they have not yet been able to point to a single state law that wouldn't allow a mom facing an emergency like ectopic pregnancy to get treatment. In fact, every single state's law allows for life-saving treatment for pregnant moms, including treatment for ectopic pregnancy, which is not the same as an elective abortion. An elective abortion has the sole purpose of ending the life of the unborn child. Treatment for an ectopic pregnancy is aimed at saving the mother's life because that mom is at risk. The pregnancy, in over 90% of cases of ectopic pregnancies, the child has stopped growing. In all instances, is unable to live. So the removal of that child is to save the mom's life, and that is the absolute purpose. It's just a tragic side effect that the child can't survive that particular type of pregnancy because of how it has implanted. We hear the same myths about miscarriage, that certain procedures that are used to complete a miscarriage are the same procedures that are used in abortion. That much is true. But all moms, and I think probably everyone, knows the difference between choosing to have an abortion to end a pregnancy versus tragically suffering a miscarriage. Those are completely different things. In a miscarriage, the baby has died on its own. It's a time of grief. It's very sad, and sometimes a woman will need some sort of follow-up treatment. In all instances, she can get that treatment. A baby's life is not being intentionally ended. So again, it's very curious that the other side is only talking about ectopic pregnancies now, it seems, instead of really trying to defend what it wants, which is elective abortion on demand through all 9 months of pregnancies. That's the agenda that the abortion industry wants to continue to push. It profits from that. But instead, it's trying to fabricate these stories and, in fact, scare women into thinking that they aren't going to get the treatment that any OB/GYN or emergency room doctor would absolutely ensure their patients. That is part of the Hippocratic Oath. The doctors are bound to take care of their patients, and that's exactly what's happening.
Another thing to throw out at you and just get your response on it is this idea that now that abortion can be regulated at a younger stage of pregnancy, that now that's going to drive women to back alley abortions, unsafe abortions, as opposed to theoretically the safe abortions that they were having before. Is there any truth to that?
Well, no abortion is safe. Every single abortion ends in at least one death and can cause serious physical harms to the woman, including uterine rupture, even infertility, lacerations, infection, hemorrhaging. There's many documented instances of abortion doctors not taking care of their patients and their patients ending up losing their uteruses, unable to have children in the future. In addition, the psychological harms are very well documented from abortion. Women who undergo abortions later suffer PTSD, anxiety disorders, eating disorders, substance abuse, depression at higher rates, even suicidal ideation at significantly higher rates than other women. So all of those things are known harms that come from abortion. But the back alley abortion myth is just that. It's a myth. It has long been disproven. In fact, the person who perpetuated this myth was one of the prominent pro-abortion lobbyists back in the mid-1900s. He later admitted that his evidence was not true, that the numbers was somewhere in the dozens, which of course every death is a tragedy, but it is nothing like we've been told to believe. In fact, where the resources should be going instead of to Planned Parenthood is into research on maternal health and perhaps to pregnancy centers, into programs that would actually support and affirm life and help women make healthy decisions and have healthy pregnancies. That's where we should be putting our focus instead of trying to fund and prop up a deadly, unnecessary procedure that has caused so much harm.
Yeah, and that kind of leads to another question that I wanted to get us to, and that is, our viewers are watching this. They're getting great information about Dobbs, the decision itself. But what can the average viewer do? Is there anything they can do differently now, or that they should do differently now that the Supreme Court has handed down this ruling?
Yeah, we have a tremendous opportunity now that it was completely off the table under Roe v. Wade, because we were forced into a system where elective abortion was mandated into the 6th month of pregnancy. We had no ability to actually protect life. So now citizens, assuming you're 18 years or older, you can vote for lawmakers and advocate for policies that are going to not only protect life as a matter of law, but also support motherhood, support parenting, support the work of pregnancy centers and other nonprofits, charities that are helping build up the family and communities, helping to welcome children into this world, into a healthy society that might be assisting the foster and adoption industry in a way that makes it more streamlined or more possible, where it has more resources to make sure that children do have loving homes when they're welcomed into this world, hopefully instead of being destroyed in the womb. Every child deserves a chance at life. And that is the message we need to be telling our neighbors. That's how we should be advocating for policies in our states and local governments. In fact, you could do other creative things like volunteer at a pregnancy center. You may have any sort of skill set that is valuable to a mom in need, whether she be pregnant or have a newborn. Maybe she needs help with budgeting and you have financial expertise. Maybe you have an extra room in your home where you could put a crib and house a new mom for a little while. Maybe you have a background in nursing and can volunteer to assist with ultrasounds at a pregnancy care center. Maybe you have financial resources and can donate material goods to help those who really need it now. So there's so many ways, and we finally have the ability to be innovative and creative in the ways that we can protect life even from its earliest stages.
Yeah. Before I let you go, we've talked about the way that the states and the people now have the ability to regulate for themselves on the question of abortion. What's the latest on kind of the landscape of that? How are states doing that? And how can people stay informed on what's going on in their state?
The legal landscape changes from day to day because the abortion industry has filed a lot of lawsuits that are in various stages of litigation. But in general, there's somewhere between 12 to 20 states right now that have really strong pro-life protections that they are defending in court. And it's very exciting to see. And we at ADF have been very busy to come alongside those states and support them in every way they need in that litigation to make sure that those laws are upheld. To follow along with what's happening, we at ADF have a map on our page that we keep updated weekly. So if you go to adflegal.org and you go to our Center for Life resources or our Dobbs resources, you can see there the map that explains what the state laws are that are currently in effect right now. And it's a beautiful picture of America as compared to a couple months ago.
Denise, again, thank you for your time. And on behalf of so many grateful Americans, thank you for the work that you've done and the team on the Center for Life at ADF. Thank you for your work and especially for our friends in Mississippi and for the way that they've stood courageously for life. Thank you for joining us for this video. And again, Denise, thank you for joining us. Hey guys, thanks for watching this video. Before you leave, click like on the video, click subscribe on the channel, and make sure you click that notification bell so you never miss an episode. We'll see you next time.